Hey, my name is Jesse James, and welcome back to the channel. This is another episode of Dealership Life, which is where I pretty much go through my week, tell you about different things going on, what I'm doing, and so on and so forth, and just kind of give you a behind-the-scenes look of what it's like to actually work not only at a dealership, but more specifically at a Harley-Davidson dealership. So to start off for the week, there's, I'm looking at CVOSTs again. The joke right now is I've got a whole bunch of people looking at numbers, whole bunch of people looking at CVOSTs, but not really closing them, which is, if you've ever worked in sales or know anything about that, that's not the greatest thing to be known for that right now. So what I'm doing to combat that, for the two different customers, on one of them, I've reached an impasse with them. This, where we've looked at the bikes, I've got him my absolute bottom dollar I can take. I can't personally do anything to hurt the company, but I've got him right there. And now we're wanting to go back over to the legendary orange bike, the regular CVO with the VVT. Now that it sounds good in theory, but for me, I'm like, well, you've beat me up and you worked me over on numbers for this one bike. Now you're wanting to switch up bikes on me. So for me, I'm like, okay, we're on the wrong product, which that's on me. I was the one that suggested looking more in depth at the CVOST in the first place, whenever Sid was looking at the one. So I'll go back and we'll look over this other bike. But I do want you to ride it beforehand, because if you didn't see on Harley's website for 2024, the CVOSTs were less money than the legendary orange. So we're talking more money on a bike where it does, you were not sure enough about it to look deeply into a CVOST. So that's where for me it's just hey, if you really are serious about buying this vehicle, ride both of them, see which one you really like, and then can offer you the same percentage wise deal either way, and then go from there. So kind of at an impasse on that one. For the other customer, it's actually because they are trying to keep stuff at financially within their budget, which I understand. But whenever we're looking at a very expensive bike, a bike that again, $40,000, it's not a cheap bike. It's still a very expensive bike. And I've shown different options, and he's considering them. He has ridden them, and he likes both of them. The other bike he's actually considering is a black on black road glide. Let's see which way it goes with it. I've played all my cards, as the saying is, because that's one of the things that it's difficult at times, being a very transparent dealership, is we don't do the back and forth a whole heck of a lot. What you're looking to do, we'll do our best to make that happen, and if we can, great. If not, then once we've got to the best, that's the best that we can do. I know that there will be people that are being oh, that's not true, because XYZ dealership out there, and they are absolutely right. There's a lot of dealerships out there that have given dealerships a bad name. I've been to a few of them myself. Just from what I've seen and from what I've experienced working here, these people are all working with integrity. So that's the most I can do. And if I've offered out the best that I can, then that's the best I can do. So something that was actually commented on the last video I did was that they would never pay that much for a motorcycle whenever it would move slow. And I agree, I wouldn't be paying that much for a stock motorcycle. It's just not my thing. I greatly enjoy building out and making a bike more my own. I enjoy the parts and accessories catalog quite a bit. So whenever I'm looking at those CVOs, that is something you have to take in mind, is that you're not getting a stock bike. I could easily see myself spending some 10, 15 grand afterwards. And that's actually why I came over to this bike, is my service manager. This is his former bike. Whenever he purchased this bike, he purchased it at, I want to say he was in the 20, if not 30,000s for this bike whenever he got it. And then he went and did 10, 15 grand worth of work and made it his own. I know there's some people that's not their thing either, but each bike is its own blank canvas, and if you're going to spend that $10,000-$15,000 afterwards, you're getting up to the CVO prices, but it's more worth it to you because it's your own canvas. So like for instance, this one has the Cicada some aftermarket speakers, taller bar, taller windshield. It's a 117 with a 2-into-1. There is I don't know what type of cam, but a cam in there, Trask Performance air breather. He went through several different seats before settling on that one, and a whole bunch of other stuff. I'm sure that's not even accounting labor, but like it's easy on these bikes to spend a lot of money. And some people, they like the customization. Other people, they just want it done out of the box. It's really whatever you're looking for. It is a different day here at the shop. Got to talk with the type of customer that I really enjoy working with, somebody that is either new to the sport or returning to the sport, because that's where you get to have, I think, the most fun conversations. That you really get to focus on bike, show them the different things of like what could work for them long term. For this gentleman, he's been out of it for a little bit, but he used to ride a 100th anniversary Heritage, but he does have some back issues going on, so they're showing him some different bikes. So the original bike he came in to look at was actually this Street Bob here, and his point of view was very much like just talking the weight of the bike not being too heavy, which I totally get. I have a deteriorated vertebrae myself, so back pain is something I can definitely empathize with. He is a taller fellow though, so what I actually was recommending was potentially go over to something in the touring family. That way, it's while a little bit heavier initially, the bikes kind of just lift themselves whenever you get going, which is something that I think he'd really enjoy. And then the bike that he really enjoyed the most was definitely this 2008 Heritage Classic, like with the tour pack. I recently did a short on this bike. It's really rare to see, and I love how good condition it is. But coming over from a Heritage Softail, it's the type of bike that he would be the most familiar with. However, there is one thing I will not push if they tell me to stop with, and that is if somebody is financing and buying a house. There's so many ways that can go wrong that that is I will not push or sell this motorcycle to you unless it's like, hey, I'm making you sell me this motorcycle, because it can mess that up. He was aware that it could mess it up, so we didn't go too terribly deep into it, just looking around very much info day, but good conversation could lead to something good long term. Our 2025s and the other models that weren't the rollover ones. The first one that actually got put together is the Street Glide Ultra. So that footage you saw earlier was this bike sitting on the coming off the truck outside. It is now put together in here on the floor. I'm gonna do a far more in-depth video on this bike later on. I'm interested to see how this bike goes over this year though, because I know last year I thought it was kind of weird that they did the limiteds but not the other full dressers. They were doing they didn't do a refresh on the limiteds. But yeah, so for this year, now that they're back available, at least in the Street Glide, we're doing a full dresser. I'm curious to see how they go over. I will be doing a more in-depth video on that bike later. Another day, got a couple appointments set for today. One of them is a bike buy, just somebody getting out of riding. Agreed to numbers. That one should be an easy. It's a really cool bike. I did a short of it a while back, the Bonneville Salt Slim. Buying that one today. Also have another appointment that I'm prepping for, hence the helmet. Fellow wanting to come in and look over the Road Glide CVO that we got here. That's one of our pre-owns. Putting a little gas in it. That way, whenever he gets here, I'm not having to do any of this. It's way easier, way more seamless. He gets here, rides on the bike, bike's ready to go, and we can just go out on the test ride and just prepping, doing the work, prepping beforehand. That way, it's a lot better customer experience whenever he's actually. So this is the flim that I was telling you about earlier, where I had the appointment coming in to sell this bike. Super sick color. It's named Bonneville Salt. The details on this is super cool. So you've got the wheels, the floorboards, even the air breather. It's all just a part of this set for this denim-ish color. It's a little dirty, but it was just bought. Not even 1,000 miles on it. Another cool thing on it. No idea what that says. But this was a tin set that you had to order from the motor company, get put on, and that floorboard air breather was actually a part of the whole set. Just older lady, she bought it brand new in 2020, paid it off quick, and she said, thought she was gonna ride it a whole lot more, and for the past couple seasons, it didn't really move. She ended up paying for like 3 holes, keeping the fluids good, because she cared about the bike, just wasn't riding very much. And so for whenever she called over, was just looking to see if we would make an offer on it, made an offer for what she was looking for, and now it's ours. And hey, ain't nothing wrong with getting a few extra thousand, right? So this is also a busier day back here, because we are going through and marking several of the bikes to be moved over to some of our other stores. Others, like this Denim Street Bob, is going to be going out onto the floor here soon. That looks way cooler in person. Love the LED lights. I'll be doing a video of more in-depth on this bike later. But one of the things about having multiple stores such as we do is this point in the year, 2025s are coming in, and we're actually spaced out pretty well across the Midwest. So we'll usually go through and trade. It's like if one place is doing better with certain bikes or need a type of bike to have on the floor, and kind of move everything around to help spread out the inventory across all the places, since we can all sell from the different locations, but also just make it to where it's a little bit more even, so we can have an even amount of room for the 2025s coming in. This is usually as busy, or packed I should say, in here as we ever see it. But we've got some bikes, like that one's gonna go off to Fort Wayne. This one's gonna go off to Toledo. There, I think that Nightster over there is heading off to Docks. But it does make it a very busy day. And that's what it does for our floor. Like, it opens up so much room for us to not only have activities, but also to move new product out here. So super nice. As for the last appointment of the day, he did not show up. I promise that in these videos, I do actually have success and know what I'm doing. I'm not always ghosted for my appointments, but you are usually looking about 50-50 on people showing up versus not on appointments. And of that 50%, statistically, you only sell half. So that's just the averages with it. But we keep going. Sorry, it's not the most upbeat end for the video. But again, that's just the reality of the business. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you enjoy this type of seeing what it's like working at a Harley-Davidson content. Like, share, comment, all that fun stuff. And I'll catch you on the next one.